supplies. We'll tell you what experts say is likely the cause for the increase and how parents can get the help they need. And the ultimate influencers, Time is releasing its list of 100 of the most influential people in the world. Break down who made the list and what makes them stand out. Let's begin this morning with President Trump's ongoing battle with the courts over immigration. A judge in Maryland is now weighing contempt charges against government lawyers for failing to comply with court orders to provide information about one deportation. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was mistakenly sent to a prison in El Salvador for what the Justice Department has called an administrative error. Now, the White House claims without evidence he's a member of the violent gang MS-13. Abrego Garcia has no criminal record in the U.S. or in El Salvador. As the Trump administration stands by its decision to deport him, Abrego Garcia's family is pleading desperately for his return. ABC News seen the White House responding. Jake is at the White House.
There you go.
The White House seems set up testing the limits of presidential power in this case by doing nothing in the face of a Supreme Court order to facilitate the return of that man mistakenly deported due to an administrative error. Now the judge overseeing the case is demanding swift action, as are a growing number of angry voters showing up at Republican town halls. Overnight, anger boiling over. Protesters interrupting town halls held by Republican lawmakers, including Trump ally Marjorie Taylor Greene. Where police say they tased 2 people and arrested 3.
If you want to shout and chant, we will have you removed.
Objecting to a range of Trump policies, including the deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The man the DOJ has acknowledged was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. The same issue coming up at Republican Senator Chuck Grassley's event. You going to bring any guys back from El Salvador? The Supreme Court said to bring him back. As this morning, there's a new deadline in the case from a frustrated federal judge who indicated she's weighing holding members of the administration in contempt of court, scolding government lawyers for refusing to comply with her demands for information about any steps being taken to return Abrego Garcia. U.S. District Judge Paula Sinis said in a hearing Tuesday, quote, "To date, what the record shows is that nothing has been done. Nothing." Ordering DOJ officials to, quote, cancel vacations, cancel other appointments if needed to provide information by a new deadline in 2 weeks. Outside the hearing, Kilmar Abrego Garcia's wife pleading for his return.
Enough is enough. My family can't be robbed from another day without seeing Kilmar.
The Trump administration insists that Abrego Garcia is a member of the violent MS-13 gang, though they have provided no evidence, and he's never been convicted of a crime. The Supreme Court ordered last week that the administration, quote, facilitate his return to the U.S. In a new interview, President Trump appearing to wash his hands of the matter.
He's from El Salvador, so that's a decision up to El Salvador.
The judge in this case has limited options to enforce your ruling if the administration doesn't comply. The most likely legal tool to be used here would be holding the government or specific officials in civil contempt, basically imposing fines until her orders are followed. Criminal contempt, the idea of jailing someone, would require help from the U.S. Marshals, which report to the DOJ. It's on the other side of this case, meaning that's not an option. The president himself can't be held in contempt. All right, Gary, thank you so much. Now, tensions between the U.S. and China are reaching new heights. Beijing is launching a fresh wave of retaliation against President Trump's tariffs.
Hey there, Yara.
International correspondent Janice McNeil has the latest.
So there's Lado, Sala.
These factories like this one in Yiwu, China, that makes hair accessories. A lot of them for export.
Oh man, I'm so sleepy.
Beginning to feel the sting of soaring tariffs. Now at least 145% on all Chinese goods. China is still refusing to negotiate with President Trump, and now the retaliation goes beyond tariffs.
Hey peoples, welcome, welcome. Welcome back if you've been here before.
China now hitting back, responding to President Trump's tariffs by targeting U.S. companies, telling Chinese airlines.
Has anybody been here before?
Jets from Boeing, America's
If so, why did you come back? I want to know.
President Trump
What is it?
reneging on the big Boeing deal of fully committed to aircraft. Overnight, tech giant Nvidia projecting that U.S. tariffs will cost it a possible $5.5 billion. China's also putting export controls on critical rare earths, limiting Hollywood films in the lucrative Chinese market, adding U.S. companies to its unreliable entities list, and threatening to cut off fentanyl talks. Yesterday, the White House press secretary reading a statement she said President Trump dictated.
China needs to make a deal with us. We don't have to make a deal with them. There's no difference between China and any other country except that they are much larger.
But neither side seems ready for that deal yet. China's leader Xi Jinping is on tour, urging Vietnam to stand up to America's unilateral bullying. And after Vice President J.D. Vance referred to Chinese peasants
I don't
last
know what the
week,
fuck you're saying there. That made no
one fellow
sense.
diplomat here saying,
OITAKLU? That makes no sense.
the pushback feeding economic nationalism and a flood of AI-generated memes in China,
Taklu?
showing Trump administration officials working factory production lines. But beyond the rhetoric, real impact. Consumers feeling it in everything from toys to socks to toothbrushes. 97% of baby strollers and 87% of car seats sold in the U.S. are made in China, effectively the only source of baby goods for parents. This vendor in Yiwu telling us U.S.
Get out that window.
just aren't buying anymore because of tariffs.
China can still strike back in other ways, like putting more U.S. companies under investigation.
Nepali? Damn, that's far away.
To study elsewhere, maybe telling travel agents to steer tour groups away.
Far,
from
far
the
away.
cities. Tariffs do pose a risk for China's economy. It's no secret that growth is slow here. But for now, neither side of this trade showdown appears willing to budge.
Oh, Janice, thank you. In Texas, a suspected shooter is now in custody. For authorities saying he opened fire at a Dallas high school. At least 4 students were injured in the shooting. NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch is live in Dallas and has the latest. Jesse, good morning.
They got somebody.
Joe, good morning. The Dallas Morning News reports that an anti-violence community group leader told the paper that the suspect with him and wanted to turn himself in. We reached out to police as well as that community group leader out there have not heard back yet. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, there is now a suspect in custody, though there are several unanswered questions here.
This morning, a suspect is in custody following an hours-long manhunt in Texas. After authorities say a shooter opened fire at a Dallas high school, with at least 3 students struck by gunfire.
Got an active shooter, former high school, suspect right out of the back door of the school.
Officials say 4 male students were taken to area hospitals, 3 injured by gunfire. The 4th student suffering from what's been described as a musculoskeletal injury to the lower body.
This is still a very fresh and fluid investigation.
Tuesday afternoon, the sound of gunshots sending students and teachers scrambling. Wilmer Hutchins High School.
I see like a whole lot of kids running the whole opposite way, so I panicked and I ran to the back of like the cafeteria.
One student says she saw the suspect just seconds before the shooting.
I could walk by with it, but I was looking at her like big shock.
Officials say within minutes, an on-site school police officer responded, quickly followed by additional police.
Who stuck around? Somebody stuck around. Somebody, at least the one person stuck around. Look at
This is
that.
not the first time this community has been rocked by gun violence. Just over a year ago, a student was shot in a classroom and survived. According to the school district superintendent,
Last year, I was the city here, and it was shooting. When I was here, same thing on
authorities say they do not know how the weapon got past campus security.
The gun did not come through during regular intake time, so it was not a failure of our staff, of our protocols of the machinery that we have.
At last word from Dallas Fire Rescue, the injuries of the victims
That's
range
me.
from serious to non-life-threatening. Meanwhile, this school will be closed for the rest of the week. Joe,
Jesse,
Grelu.
thank you so much. Things are heating
My
up in
buddy
the big
Grelu.
antitrust case against
Why is his name Grelu? Look at his eyes.
unfairly dominated
Got one green, one blue. Grelu. That's my buddy.
Mark Zuckerberg back in 2018. It showed that he was considered separate company. The email reads in part, quote, I'm beginning to
You're a
wonder
good
whether
boy.
spinning Instagram out is the only
Did you good
structure
boy?
that will
You
accomplish
good
a
job?
number of important goals. These calls to break up the big tech companies grow. There is a
Yeah, he's a good
non-trivial
boy.
chance that we will be forced to spin out Instagram and
He's a good
perhaps
boy.
WhatsApp in the next 5
Good
years.
grievous.
Anyway, Zuckerberg took the stand for a second time yesterday. Meta argues the lawsuit fails
He
to
wants some
acknowledge
scratchy,
current
some
tech
scratchy,
rivals
scratchy
like
time.
TikTok. And news business and data correspondent Brian Chung is
Get
here
away,
to break that
Nova.
down for us. Let's start with what came out
It's
of
kitty time.
yesterday's
Get away.
hearing. What did we hear?
Yeah, again, day 2 of Mark Zuckerberg appearing in court trying to
What are you doing over there, Brownie?
the company's strategy for they bought Instagram, the photo sharing app, as well as WhatsApp, the messaging app, which the FTC and the government are alleging is a monopoly. Now, what was interesting about yesterday's proceedings was that they went through a treasure trove of emails. The one that you mentioned is worth noting, but I also want to note that they also brought up some emails where apparently Mark Zuckerberg was entertaining the idea of Facebook potentially buying Snapchat. They ultimately decided that wasn't the right acquisition, the right fit for them. They went for Instagram and WhatsApp instead. And that email, as you mentioned, has been the one that's been garnering the most attention. This email where he was noting, even after the acquisition, at some point down the line, because of antitrust scrutiny, maybe they'll have to divest those companies. Now, if that is a smoking gun for the government, the company is pushing back. They're arguing that that was just scenario planning given the political rhetoric of the time. And kind of the argument is that, all right, well, if the government wants to say that is the case for this company being a monopoly, well, then they also have to prove that they've used their scale and their also massive size to basically bully the competition, which they say is kind of ignored in this case because TikTok is not mentioned as one of this.
Clearly a lot of scrutiny of Zuckerberg here. What has he been saying on the statement?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been answering a lot of questions because, again, he is the witness for the government. So it's the FTC's lawyers that are trying to press Mark Zuckerberg into saying something that they can kind of put into the record and show to the judge to show, hey, this is a guy that was intent on building an empire that was going to abuse its powers. Now, Mark Zuckerberg offering kind of just thoughts on the emails that they've been bringing up, saying, yes, I remember that email, I don't remember that email, what have you. But again, he is not necessarily offering anything that's particularly new with regards to what we know about the WhatsApp and the Instagram acquisitions. That was kind of part of their strategy.
Far, far away? San Francisco?
Other types of social media that the traditional Facebook website didn't have. But again, we'll have to see over this multi-month proceedings whether or not a judge does see the government's case enough to want to maybe break this time.
You heard that right. Multi-months. This could go on for months. This is not a quick process at all. If Meta does lose this, what is at stake?
Yeah, what would be at stake would be them having to divest WhatsApp and or Instagram or spin off. And that could be a big thing for Meta, which is really trying to lean into using all of its platforms and incorporating its AI tools.
What are you doing over there, Amelia? Get away from that.
Instagram, WhatsApp would be able to do that if it were the case that they would be separate companies. So this would be a pretty substantial breakup. It's something I imagine other big tech companies are watching as well. When you think about Apple, they are also massive big tech companies. They want to see how these proceedings go to see if the antitrust cards maybe end up happen.
Tech companies paying close attention to this one. All right, Brian, thank you so much. You're thinking about a summer getaway, but it might have fewer flight options. United Airlines just announced it's going to be cutting domestic flights in a few months because of a slight slowdown in demand. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello covers aviation for us. He joins us from Reagan National Report.
Yeah, so United Airlines is just the latest airline to report kind of a slowdown, a pullback of airline passenger spending. Delta CEO has already said they're seeing government spending on air travel down 50%. But if you're going to be traveling this summer, if you haven't bought your tickets yet, you just might find a bargain. As Americans ramp up for the summer travel season, United Airlines is back some of its domestic flights by 4% due to a drop in demand, calling the economy impossible to predict. United CEO Scott Curtis says the airline will continue to execute a multi-year plan that has allowed United to thrive in any demand environment.
Americans are feeling the economic headwinds already, but what we're hearing from consumers is even those who are cutting back are still prioritizing expenditure on travel.
The announcement comes just a week after Delta CEO said airline travel has stalled for A2, both leisure and corporate.
What's going on here? Let me see. Cali, Eddie, Kati.
Visitors canceling trips to the U.S. after President Trump slapped other countries, including Canada, with tariffs.
Shocked that we don't want to spend money down there.
Cuties.
Economists warn it could cost the U.S. tourism industry billions, but there could be silver lining for Americans planning a summer vacation.
We are seeing lower prices for summer travel as of
Hey, get away from her.
Offers lead economists
Papa.
says domestic and international travel.
Papa. Papa.
round-trip airfare
Get
to
away from
Europe
her, man. She don't like
right now,
that.
August is averaging just about $817 per ticket, down about 13% compared to this time last year.
Domestically, flights from
Greenlew.
Tampa to Miami between July and
Our
August
buddy
are going
Greenlew.
for 277 round trip. Atlanta to DC as well as 217 round trip. And Chicago to Vegas about $300. While big legacy airlines are playing it safe this summer, budget carriers like Frontier are hoping to cash in. There's going to be a massive reversal of fortune. Over the last several years, the legacy carriers have done very, very well at the expense of us. But there's not too much domestic supply. So United is not specifying which routes, which cities they may cut flights on. However, they are saying those that are less full, those flights that are kind of in the off-peak hours, they're likely to trip back. Also, they're retiring 21 planes early. But guess what? They are still seeing pretty good demand on the international side, even though we're hearing that there are huge demand on international travel as well. Back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you so much. Angie, summer travel deals. Where are we going? You got a map there.
Yeah, anywhere where the temperatures are warm at this point, Joe, and it's not snowing. That's what we've been dealing with for the past couple of days. And today is no different. We've still got the cool air settled into parts of the Northeast, stretching down to the Mid-Atlantic, including the Great Lakes. 10 to 20 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. Different story, though, if you look basically at the Central Plains, where we're running way warm for this time of year. So we've got the upper 70s for Omaha today, 90s.
Smoking, buddy. You don't want to be around right now while I'm smoking, do you?
70s. Different story.
smoking.
Just 60s for Baltimore.
Like
Not
he-
terrible
like he gonna get
across
high?
this region, but definitely
He gonna
we're
get
expecting
high?
more April standards when it comes to our high temperatures in
Oh,
Ann Arbor
gee.
today, just 53 degrees. More of the same
Hopefully
for
not,
tomorrow.
right?
Some of that warmth spreads a little farther to the east, includes parts of the Midwest, and then we really get a taste of some like mild temperatures here as we get to the end of the work week and into our weekend in some spots. One of those spots is 78 on Friday. Unfortunately, don't get used to it because by Saturday and Sunday we're back
Little
to the
buddy.
50s there. We've got the upper
Kitty
70s
cats.
for Cincinnati. We've got the upper 70s on
Kitty
Saturday
cats.
in New York, and we're nearing
Buddy.
on Saturday in Raleigh.
Hey,
So
what are
a
you
little bit of
doing? Don't mess
spring across this region.
Leave
That's
it
going
here
to be
alone.
a taste of that. Meanwhile, we've still got the snow that I mentioned. That's going to happen across the Rockies as this next system emerges, specifically tomorrow. But some of these showers and thunderstorms, they could ramp up and become strong or even severe as the day goes on. This is a look at the area right in the bullseye of that. Omaha included too. Hail's going to be your main threat we're going to have to watch for. But the isolated tornadoes, the wind gusts, all on the table across that same region. By the time Friday rolls around, we finish out our work week. More of that rain and kind of snow across this region. Snow for the Rockies, but we'll ramp up that severe threat and we'll expand it. So it's Texas to Michigan that we'll watch for. Anywhere from Oklahoma City, essentially to Detroit, we'll have the potential to see that large hail once again, and the wind threat, as well as that flood threat that starts to emerge by the time the weekend rolls around. It's a holiday weekend. This is going to make it difficult for travel, airport travel, road travel, all to be a little bit across this region. So again, Texas stretching to Pennsylvania is where you'll watch for those strongest.
That'd be a good idea if I lay down.
As we look ahead to the flood threat, that's going to be another thing.
Close my eyes for like 10,
Got really
15
saturated
minutes.
grounds, so heads up for folks across that area. You could run into some of those problems into your Saturday. Pittsburgh to Dallas is where we'll watch for the severe storm impact. We'll pick up maybe 1 inch to 2 inches of rain, the highest amounts from St. Louis to Dallas. Snowfall amounts, well, yes, it's April, but we're going to pick up some additional snow now through Friday. That could reach up to a foot in some of those highest peaks. Denver picks up some of that. You can see across the Rockies, Joe. This will be something they'll deal with at least for the next few weeks.
There's the time
Well-
of year where I've seen, like, in Denver, like, they go skiing one day and then golf the next.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where we're at?
If you don't save the life, I'm a...
That's all happening.
Okay.
Thank you so much, appreciate it. Much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, Time has unveiled a new list of 100 of the most influential people in the world. You'll see 7 of them on the cover. We're going to tell you who made this year's cut. First, Israel's defense minister says Israeli troops are going to remain in Gaza indefinitely. That means the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. Details.
Doggies. Doggies everywhere.
Who's next?
Stay awake at night worrying that my security services are cutting.
I couldn't help but overhear their security and security. Baylon is your all-in-one security partner. The best keeps you from everything security.
Damn, that looks good. Oh my god, they got the triple. Carlos Jr. Oh my god, it's calling me. That shit looking so good. Damn, that could just got me. I want some Carlos Jr. now. How do I get some?
With low prices store-wide, eat well for less at Whole Foods Market.
It's made for 24-hour moisturization in and out of the shower.
Moisturizing body wash and lotion with real shea butter. I'm in love with today.
Phoenix Moisturizing Body Wash locks in 4 times the moisturizers of your old body wash, and Native Lotion keeps your skin hydrated for 24 hours. All without the parabens, petrolatum, silicones, or sulfates.
And they smell divine.
Clean 24-hour moisturization isn't a myth, it's native.
This is butter. I've never met a dog like it because there's never been a dog like it. Every dog is unique. That's why the farmer's dog, put your dog at the center of everything you do. With food that's freshly made, with human grade safety standards, personalized portions.
I always do.
Dogs need delivered right to you. We just want to make it easier to take care of everybody's buddy.
I know. Can't let it try. I got a lot depending on me.
Toyota's legendary reliability. Lease to Tacoma for just $199 a month. Or get low financing or $3,000 cash back on Tundra. Plus, check out the all-new 4Runner. Toyota. Let's go places.
Why they look out? Oh, that's their favorite little spot. They love the window. Better not fuck up my screen though.
Israeli Defense Minister also said a blockade on humanitarian aid going into Gaza will remain in place. UN says more than 400,000 Palestinians have been displaced and more than 1,600 killed since Israel ended its Gaza bombing campaign last month. NBC News correspondent Danielle Manatee joins us now with more on this. So Danielle, first of all, why are Israeli troops remaining in these areas and how could this impact hopes for a ceasefire?
Yeah, good morning, Joe. As you said, the Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz calling them security zones in the Gaza Strip, but in Lebanon as well as in Syria. And for how long? It seems like, again, this is indefinite. The Defense Minister said that the IDF will stay there as a buffer between, quote, the enemy and the communities in any temporary or permanent situation. The Palestinians in both Lebanon and Syria view the presence of Israeli forces as a military occupation. Of course, it's a violation of international law, so this is not going to go down very well. No doubt that could further complicate the talks with Hamas over a ceasefire deal, and a reminder that phase 2 of the ceasefire was supposed to see the full withdrawal of Israeli forces in exchange for the release of all remaining hostages. Instead, since the ceasefire
What are you doing, Papa?
Israeli military's ground operations have expanded to the point where Israeli forces now control more than half of Gaza.
Yeah. Israel also saying it's not going to lift a blockade on humanitarian aid that has been in place since early March. What are we hearing from aid groups like Doctors Without Borders about the situation in Gaza right now?
Yeah, and the backdrop here is a warning by the UN this week that Gaza is facing its most severe humanitarian crisis since the war began in October 2023. It doesn't make headlines the way these stupid things have gotten worse. Today, confirmation by Israeli officials that the blockade in place since early March will continue for the time being as a way to pressure Hamas as negotiations continue. This doesn't just impact food, water, and medical supplies, but heavy equipment as well. It means no diggers or bulldozers or
This is Amelia right here. Let's go,
Israel
Amelia.
says those things will just fall into the hands of Hamas, but in the meantime,
Don't.
as Israeli strikes continue
Don't do that.
to pound Gaza,
Don't be mean.
Palestinians are dying under the rubble because rescuers don't have the equipment to pull them out. Doctors Without Borders says Gaza has become a mass grave. Humanitarian groups are struggling to provide aid. We have a death toll of over 51,000 people, with so many still unaccounted.
Alright, Doug, you gonna do my lay down.
Lying on the road with medics unable to reach
Yeah,
them.
chill out, okay?
And Danielle, amid all this Israeli practice
Alright, Yogi.
continues to face pressure within the
Hey, what are you doing?
That's right. Nearly 1,000 retired and active reservist pilots called on the Prime Minister. Freeing the hostages
What are you doing?
and ending the war.
What's taking so long? Alright, that's it for me. Huh?
Thank you so much. Here this morning, controversial
Yeah.
ruling by the UK Supreme Court increasing the impact of legal rights for transgender women.
Okay. Alright, come on down. Come on down and get your ass dressed.
See you later, Tigger strip.
Sugar strip.